Chaos in the council. A usually orderly chamber, reduced to a shouting match between speakers brought in by the United States to draw attention to political prisoners held in Cuba, and scores of Havana's diplomats brought in to protest.
You can understand very well why people feel afraid to speak their minds, why people are thrown in jail for speaking their minds with this kind of government, this kind of thuggish behavior. It has no place here in the United Nations. The Cuban government and its diplomatic representatives should be ashamed of themselves for the way they behave today.
Diplomats seen here shouting in Spanish, Cuba yes, blockade no. But Cuba's envoy held the US action in contempt and said Washington lacked the moral authority to give lessons on human rights to others.
That country, with its poor adherence to international human rights instruments, for example, is the only country in the world that has not signed it or ratified it. This is a shame for the United States government. This is a shame for the implementation of all human rights instruments. This is a shame for a country like this to have children in this kind of situation. Why? Because they are immigrants, because they are not white, because they come from Latin America and the Caribbean countries. The United States has to explain this to the organization.
At this, we'll evaluate what kind of response can be made. You'll have seen what we said at the time of the incident, and we'll continue to evaluate what further steps are needed.
The letter of Cuba's political prisoners, arguing that it was in violation of UN rules about the use of its premises.
The rules require that a proposed event must be consistent with the purposes and principles of the UN, and that it has to be non-commercial in nature. As a result of this requirement, the sponsoring permanent mission must certify that this is the case upon requesting the use of a UN conference room.